to workers' rights. Please welcome back to Fresno City College, Ms. Rabiah Rahman.
Thank you. Before I begin, something has been worrying me all day. This morning, I got a text message from Coach Williams. She really wants to tell Rough Riders softball good luck. So Rough Riders softball, if you're out there, Coach Williams says good luck. I think we have the same phone number. Okay, now that's over. Congratulations, class of 2016. I am extremely honored and humbled to stand here before all of you this evening. It was exactly 10 years ago to the day where I sat where all of you are sitting. Tomorrow, some of you will go on to begin your careers, and some of you will go on to a four-year university. But tonight, I hope all of you take some time to savor this moment. Savor the moment that you have successfully completed your degree. And go out there and celebrate yourself with your family, your friends, and your loved ones. And savor the moment that you have proven to yourself that you have what it takes to succeed. As I prepared to speak to you all this evening, I thought about some of my personal highlights at FCC, the journey I took to get here, and some of the lessons I learned along the way. So my story began in the high desert of California. I was born to a single-parent household where we were dependent on social services and the good graces of others. I grew up in a conservative community which did not promote education. And because I was a girl, I was not allowed to attend public school. Therefore, I was homeschooled and principally responsible for educating myself and my sister during my primary school years. When we are young, we allow ourselves to dream big. When I was 8 years old, I dreamt of becoming a lawyer. Now, while that might not sound like a far-fetched aspiration to most, for me, I might as well have dreamt of going to the moon. I don't think I knew exactly what it meant to be a lawyer, but I wanted to walk in the shoes of Congresswoman Barbara Jordan, the first African-American congresswoman from the South. Ms. Jordan once said, "There is no obstacle in the path of young people who are poor or members of a minority group that hard work and preparation cannot cure." So, like many of you, I worked hard and I prepared. I even managed to obtain my high school diploma at the age of 16. However, I never actually imagined that I'll have the opportunity to attend college. In fact, when I was not married by the age of 18, I was sent off to a finishing school to refine my domestic skills to prepare myself for marriage. And it seems as though I failed at that too, as I'm still not married. Eligible bachelors see me after the ceremony. My family ultimately left that community, but I had to break through the significant mental barriers to prove to myself that I had what it took to succeed in the classroom. So I started with baby steps. I enrolled in a few online courses at Fresno and Reedley City Colleges and prepared myself to eventually attend classes in person. And so began my second chapter. Steve Jobs spoke about looking back on your life and connecting the dots. The lessons that all of you have just experienced at Fresno City College will likely play out in your futures. I can trace several of my experiences directly back to my time at FCC. For example, I received college credit for completing an internship at Congressman Jim Costa's office. I had no way of knowing at that time that my internship gave me an insight into the political realities of what I would encounter later when I was developing advocacy strategies as a political activist. My experiences preparing for Model United Nations conferences informed my judgment when I ultimately found myself advocating on behalf of refugees before the United Nations. But most importantly, Fresno City College provided a solid educational foundation. So when I arrived at UCLA, I was more than prepared to excel academically. And it was no different when I went on to attend law school at UC Berkeley. Through the process of obtaining an education, I learned that my life experiences had transformed my perspective on how I viewed the world and what I perceived as justice. While working with refugees, I saw harrowing examples of perseverance. I represented a woman whose children were beaten and burned and subjected to horrifying forms of torture by interrogators in Sudan. I worked with incarcerated youth who were subjected to all forms of abuse and violence at the hands of the very people charged with their protection. But I have also seen individuals devote their entire lives to selfless acts of altruism. And my advice? Hold on to those positive memories. In my application for law school, I wrote, my goal is not only to attend law school, but to also participate in the shortcomings of our society. And that is where I am now. This current chapter of my life requires me to look back and allow my story to guide me through my successes. Throughout my life, I have grappled with issues of self-doubt and self-worth. Am I good enough? Am I deserving of this opportunity? What if I try really, really hard and still fail? As I look out into the crowd tonight, I'm sure that some, if not many of you, are also grappling with those same issues of self-doubt and anxiety about what comes next. While I have not completely overcome these mental obstacles, I have experienced a few life lessons that continue to guide me. I was able to narrow it down to 5. I don't have the 14 for you guys, but I have 5 of the life lessons that I've learned that I'll share with you. First, always wear comfortable shoes. It's true. It's important. It's important. Second, don't be afraid to fail. Failure is, in fact, an option. Sometimes you can try your hardest and give it all you've got, and you still do not accomplish what you set out to achieve. Participating in the Fresno City College Model United Nations team sparked my desire to pursue a career in international human rights law. By the time I graduated from law school, I had significant international experience. I had a fellowship doing international work with refugees, and I knew a lot of activists in the field. But I could not find a permanent job doing international work. No matter how hard I networked, no matter how many jobs I applied for, I could not find what I was looking for. This was a goal 6 years in the making. And for all intents and purposes, I had failed. I have failed at what I had set out to achieve, to be an international human rights lawyer. I was at an all-time low. I thought I had even made a mistake by going to law school. So, like any other normal, rational, level-headed, non-melodramatic person, I sold my car, packed my bags, and moved to China to discover myself. But what I didn't realize at that time, just because I failed, it didn't make me a failure. When I came home from China, I discovered that I did not need to travel overseas to be an advocate. There were victims in my own backyard. I never even considered a career as a workers' rights attorney, advocating on behalf of employees. But I love it. And I'm so happy every morning to get up and go do work that I am proud of with people I respect and admire. That experience taught me that even though you try hard and are prepared, you can still fail. Do not let failure define you. When we give ourselves permission to fail, we give ourselves the best chance to succeed beyond our imagination. Do not fear failure. Don't fear fear, for that matter. Push beyond your comfort zones. Discover new facets of yourself and continue to work hard and prepare. You never know what opportunities will present themselves and what strengths you'll discover about yourself. Third, pursue your own definition of success. Be your own validation. Don't look around at what someone else has or what someone else is doing. What are you proud of? What makes you happy? When I was in law school, there were things you were supposed to do to be considered successful. The traditional route was to get a job with a mega law firm, make a lot of money, and have an office in the pearly ivory tower. To be true to yourself, sometimes you have to go against what is traditionally viewed as successful. To thyself be true. It's empowering and it's liberating. Fourth, find a mentor who inspires you. The best way to get where you want to be is to surround yourself with people who are already there. Steve Harvey said, "Don't tell big ideas to small-minded people." So surround yourself with open-minded people who share your ambition and your big dreams. Finally, be kind. There's a saying, be kind because everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. While one should definitely be good for goodness sake, selfishly, being a good person is actually in your best interest. People want to work with people who bring joy into their lives. So if you aren't motivated by altruism, be kind to help your bottom line. There will always be times when you are confronted with hardships and have to work extremely hard to overcome them. Many of you have already had to overcome significant obstacles to be where you are today. But remember, it is always darkest before the dawn. But that dawn will always come. While I'm at a different stage in my life, my story continues. The future continues to inspire me. I hope that we never stop growing and never stop learning and never stop experiencing new experiences. As all of you go off into your futures, and inevitably, they will be great, huge even, when an opportunity presents itself, seize it. Don't be afraid to fail. Pursue your own definition of success, and seek out and surround yourself with people you admire. And be kind. But if all else fails, and none of my life lessons hold true for you, in the words of the one and only Queen Bee, Beyonce, stay gracious, the best revenge is your paper. Congratulations.